Institute is about a 3-hour drive north in September. We're going from a Thursday through to a Sunday. And the Himalayan Institute is amazing retreat space. It's a beautiful location. They make incredible food. They also roast coffee and whatever you do to chocolate. I mean, that's not, coffee and chocolate are not usually associated with yoga retreats, so they're quite a bonus. And they also have a more classical approach to yoga. So while they will come and share some of what they know with us about the origins and the history of yoga in some small sit-down sessions each day, about an hour and a half each day, I'll then wrap it all up together on the last day to the methodology of this style of yoga that we all practice together all of the time. I'll teach you yoga every day. We'll take hikes, and it's just a very relaxing setting. So if you're interested, please see me afterwards. I can share more information about it. I would love to have you along on the trip, or you plus a friend from afar. So it's not just for people who are here every single day in this studio. Okay, we have 90 minutes together. I always think being able to do this on a Sunday is the most amazing setup for the whole week. So let's start in child's pose. Toes together, knees open, arms forward, and your forehead down to your mat. Take this integration moment here at the beginning of class to, of course, start setting up your breathing and setting your focus, maybe through your eyes, the place they're looking at, your drishti. Now, some of you are practicing for the first time in a few years off. Some of you are coming back maybe from an injury, and some of you are at your peak physical fitness right now. Throughout the practice, the way that we'll each be able to leave, having said that was exactly the practice I needed today, is through your breath and through your drishti. If you're looking to kind of bump up the results of your practice, you practice every single day and you're thinking, it's kind of the same, I'm getting the same thing out of it. Your breath and your drishti lead to this incredible ability to become curious and aware. And inside of that, every single moment is new and interesting and produces new results and creates new possibilities. So let's open ourselves up to that today. On your next inhale, lift your body up into downward facing dog. So an upside down letter V-shaped body. Keep your breath flowing and start to move your body around. Bend and straighten your knees. Or if you're a person that needs to take this a little slower, you could start on your knees in a puppy pose. Start to get really intentional with your breathing, because this breath, it won't be what you just walked into the room with. It's going to take something to cultivate a transformative breath. Of course, we use our Ujjayi breath, a breath that builds an internal heat. It's an inhale, a pause, and a steady exhale and a pause. While you're breathing and developing your breath, start to get more purposeful with your foundation. Perhaps set it a little wider, foot away from foot, hand away from hand, or a little longer. And then what does it take, maybe softening your knees, to just stretch your hips up and away from your hands. Take one more breath here. Then look forward and walk up to the front of your mat. At the front of your mat, lift up halfway and stretch your whole spine long, then hang down. Now you can fold your arms if you'd like and hold your opposite elbow and sway from side to side, but keep your breath flowing. Let your head just hang. That's it, heavy and long in your neck. While your breath is flowing and your eyes, your gaze, your drishti is set on one point, organize your feet. Set them up parallel to one another and hip width distance. I've spent a lot of time teaching other teachers to teach, and one of the things that I'm always surprised about is that there's a lack of attention to the feet as they move through practice. The one thing you could do to instantly transform your entire practice is to be aware of where your feet are in every single pose. So parallel to one another, and the weight even throughout each foot, as though it's like a box with 4 corners. Now press your feet into the ground like they're sinking down into the mat, into the floor. And then opposite of that, you might feel a rebound lift in your arches. Take another breath And when you exhale, press your feet and come rolling up to standing from your arches to your belly all the way up. You can then sweep your arms overhead, look up and reach up, and then bring your hands into prayer position at the center of your chest. Now set your gaze on one still point in the room and open yourself up to an intention for your practice today. And then 3 times we'll chant Om together. It sets us together in our breathing. It starts to create a clearing for which we can practice in. Don't worry about how it sounds. Just let your body feel the expression of it. Take a deep breath in. Inhale and reach up. Fold to the floor as you exhale. Inhale, lift halfway. High plank to low plank as you exhale. Then inhale, lift your chest, straighten your arms, upward dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. 3 breaths together. Fill your lungs up and a long, steady exhale. Now 2 more. Deep breath in and a steady exhale. Here's the last one. Inhale. When you exhale, bend your knees and then move up to your hands, stepping or jumping. Then halfway lift, forward fold. Press your feet down, stand up, reach as high as you can, and go back. Fold to the floor as you exhale. Halfway lift, move to the low plank. You can drop or step. Then inhale, upward facing dog. Stretch your chest. Exhale, downward facing dog. 3 breaths. This section of the sequence is just for awakening. You inside of your own skin, and then you as this complete expression that we are creating together. Let's do 1 more breath in. On the exhale, bend your knees and look, then jump. Halfway lift, forward fold. Inhale, stand up, lift and reach. Fold to the floor as you exhale. Halfway lift, drop to the low plank. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Now, sun salutation by sun salutation, the pace will pick up a little bit. Your heart rate will rise a little bit, and yet we'll work to keep a steadiness to our efforts. Take 1 more breath after this one. On the exhale, bend your knees and jump. Halfway lift, forward fold. Inhale, stand, look and reach, fold to the floor. Halfway lift, breathe in, step or drop, low plank. Inhale, slow and steady. Exhale, downward facing dog. Deep breath in, long breath out. As you breathe, inhale and feel your ribs expand, and a steady exhale. 1 more time, inhale. Exhale, bend your knees and jump. Halfway lift, forward fold. Press your feet, stand up, stretch back, fold to the floor. Halfway lift, low plank. Upward facing dog with strong legs, downward facing dog. Deep breath, steady exhale. Deep breath in, steady exhale. 1 more time, breathe in. Exhale, bend your knees and jump. Halfway lift, forward fold. Stand, extended mountain pose. Reach, fold to the floor. Halfway lift, low plank. Upward facing dog, point your toes, roll over them, downward facing dog. Keep your breath flowing and start to perhaps bring a little bit more freedom in the foundation of the pose by making it a little bit longer or a little bit wider. Strong fingertips, squeeze the mat, breath in, bend the knees on the exhale and jump. Halfway lift, forward fold. Inhale, stand. Lift and reach. Fold to the floor. Halfway lift. Move to the low plank. You can use your knees on the ground if you'd like. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Steady breath out. 2 more. Inhale. Stretch your hips up and back. Now you've got the last one. Squeeze the mat, look forward, and jump. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Chair pose. Sit back and reach. Let's breathe right here. This is another place where it could be helpful to put some attention on your feet. Take a little peek down at your own feet and see what's actually happening. It might be different from what we want to have happen. For a number of you, if you move just your heels a shade wider, your feet will be parallel to one another. You'll feel a different feeling in your lower back when you do that. Now hips way back. Bring the weight out of your toes so you're sitting way back, so much that you have to stretch your elbows, wrists, and fingers to hold this. 1 more inhale. Fold on the exhale. Halfway lift. Low plank. Step or float. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. We'll take warrior 1. Step your right foot forward and lunge. Arms overhead, and we'll hold this first one. Set your gaze on one point. Use your felt sense, your inner sense of feeling and knowing to become aware of your 2 feet. Press the back edge of your back foot in the mat. The likely default is you're rolling forward into the arch side of that foot. So press the back edge. I saw that, Candy. Once you've got your back foot anchored, now lunge forward into your front knee. Yep, lunge forward till you feel both legs working here. Take another breath in and reach up, then hands to the floor for chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Left side, step forward for warrior 1. Eyes on one spot. If you've got long legs, take a long stride. Erin, you've got long legs, so do you, Beth. Press the back edge of your back foot down. That's a Janet. When you press it down, your whole back leg will fire up straight and strong, and then you lunge. When you get to the point where you feel like your 2 legs are really firing up and they're strong, then just lift yourself up out of your legs. Stretch your fingers, your gaze to the ceiling. Stay here for another breath. And when you're finished, hands to the floor, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Let's breathe together, and maybe a sigh will be helpful here to just clear out some space. Seems like we needed that. 2 more breaths. As you're looking at your feet, open your heels so your feet are parallel. On your exhale, bend your knees and jump up to your hands. Halfway lift, forward fold. Chair pose, sit back and reach, and fold to the floor as you exhale. Halfway lift, move to your low plank. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog, right foot forward and lunge. Warrior 1, reach, hands to the floor for chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. It always gets a little messy here. Left foot forward, and that's fine. Reach, hands to the floor, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog, and breathe. And then just listen in. How was that for your body? We'll all work with the similar breath pattern. And then inside of that, listen to our own body and follow it where it takes us. Let's get ready to go again. Take a deep breath in. On the exhale, bend your knees. Jump to the front of your mat. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Chair pose. Sit. Reach. Fold to the floor. Halfway lift. Low plank. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Right foot forward and lunge. Warrior 1. Lunge deep, reach high. Hands down, chaturanga, and empty. Up dog. Down dog. Left foot step and lunge. Inhale, lift up, look up. Hands down, chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog, and breathe. Now, you may have in the sense of your own body this quality of like, I'm ready to take off and do it all. And then some of you are determining, okay, that much is good for me, but not that much. Sometimes I don't take all the chaturangas. That's just not what it is for my body that day. Not because I don't feel like it, but because my body's saying this would be the best move, not that. Take a breath in, exhale, bend your knees, and move up to your hands. Half lift, forward fold. Chair pose, sit back and reach. Fold to the floor and empty. Halfway lift, low plank, steady, steady. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog, right foot forward, lunge. Inhale, lift, hands down, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog, left side step, lunge, lift, hands down, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Now do a listen in on your own body and your own practice. We'll work with what's going on in your body and how it is in the room as perceived by you. All those things come into play. And the tool you have is your breath to slow down the pace of your breathing and allow yourself to absorb and work with what is. Let's take one more round of this. Take a deep breath in. On the exhale, bend your knees, move up to your hands. Halfway lift, forward fold. Chair pose, sit back and reach. Fold to the floor. Halfway lift, low plank. Up dog, down dog, right foot step and lunge. Warrior one, reach your elbows, your wrists, your fingers, hands down, chaturanga. Up dog, down dog. Left side step and lunge. Inhale, look up and reach. Hands down, chaturanga. Up dog, downward facing dog. Take a deep breath and have a sigh. Now raise your right leg into the air behind you so it's a three-legged dog and stretch your leg up and back. Then bend your knee and bring your heel to your hip, but keep your breath flowing. So let's bring that back if it's gone away from your mat. You could stay here or flip the pose over until your 2 feet are on the floor. 2 feet, one hand. And there are a million expressions of this flip dog. 2 straight legs, reaching into wheel. Is your breath flowing? Is there breath moving in and out of your body in connection to your practice? And then are you feeling at the edge of the pose and the peak of it, the opportunity to breathe and create new space in your body? One more breath here, then side plank. Bring your right hand to the mat. Face the long left side of your mat and stack your body up. Now, there are a million variations here. You could have your bottom knee on the ground. Your bottom arm might not then be touching the ground. It might just be reaching for it. You could have a forearm on the ground. Your bottom leg, you could hug that knee into your chest and dial up the intensity, all up to you. 3 breaths wherever you are. Steady breathing. You got 2 more. Smooth, calm breath, then chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. We'll do the other side. Bring your left leg up in the air. See if you can, while you have that leg in the air, reach it back so that you're pressing your hands into your mat, but your foot is reaching and your whole body feels stretched out, long and lean. Then bend your knee and flip the pose over gently. Steady breathing, though, the whole way through the transition. Drishti, as it changes, you're purposeful. Pick a new spot, set your gaze. Pick a new spot, set your gaze. And then reach. It's like your whole body is waking up and yawning into the day. Stretch it like that and breathe into your whole rib cage. One more breath. Side plank. Bring your left hand to the mat. Face the long right side of your mat and stack your body up. You got it. Now, how is your pose? Generally speaking, when we get into it, it's the way it always is. Start to go through your body with your felt sense, maybe shoulders to your ears and onto the back side of your body. For a lot of us, the low pit of the belly, front of the pelvis, hug that into your body, into your spine, and up to your chin. Now keep that strength. One more breath. High plank to low. Stretch. Upward facing dog. Just stretch. Downward facing dog. You got it. Good work. Crescent lunge on the right side. Step your right foot forward and lunge. Crescent lunge. Set your gaze once you make the move. We'll stand on the ball of your back foot. So it's different from a warrior foot, which is flat. Now it's on the ball of the back foot, heel stacked on top of your 5-toe knuckles, hips square to the front of the room and stretch forward. Some of you will work with your back knee on the ground. Others, you'll be working to straighten your back leg completely. Once you have your 2 legs engaging in this pose, reach up like you're pulling yourself up out of your legs. You can even look up. You may be able to go up and go back. Some of you will see the wall behind you and have a quality and a feeling of reaching for that wall. Breathe into your ribs, into the back of your body. One more breath. Hands to prayer at the center of your chest. Get long and twist. Left elbow to your right knee. Once you get your elbow settled onto your knee, then you have this opportunity from your heel on your left foot to reach back, but your chest to reach forward. So those 2 points pulling apart in opposite directions, your whole body long and lean. Breathe into that space. You could open your arms. You could bind your top arm behind your back. Wherever you are, whatever your version of this pose is, breathe into your chest and upper back. One more easy breath in and out, then crescent lunge, warrior 2. Just when you're in a pose and you're thinking, whoa, that's a lot, I'm done with it, we switch. The sequence is designed so you work and then you rest. Now, rest might be different work. Organize your feet. Turn your back toes inward and straighten your back knee. That's it, Charlie. And then your front leg, point your knee in the same direction your toes are pointing in. A lot of times we'll over-rotate in the ankle and the toes will kind of be pointing out to the right. Just point your knee and toes in the same direction. Now straighten your front knee and reach up. Whole body long and lean, and then deep down low in your warrior 2. Stretch your arms apart and tilt for extended side angle. You want to really keep your breath flowing here. Take a deep, deep lunge. You may then be able to really press and anchor the back edge of your back foot into the ground. That's it, Corey. You may find that gives you so much extra power, and you harness it by reaching both of your arms forward, the bottom one and the top one, and create a stretch from your fingers to your foot. All chests toward the ceiling. One more breath. High plank to low. Some good work going on there. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Just take a breath with a sigh. Give yourself a chance to feel how it is in your body right now. We'll do the left side. Step forward for crescent lunge. Get your foot on the mat and get your eyes on a spot. Set a drishti. And if you get here and you realize you're not really breathing anymore in the practice of breath right now, no problem. Just start again. Our practice doesn't ask us to be perfect and sustain all the principles perfectly throughout. It asks us to work with them, notice when they're missing, and bring them back in. Deep, deep lunge. Fire up your back leg. If your front leg is feeling tired, fire up your back leg. Then lift up and out of your front leg. Pit of the belly can draw in and draw up. The center of your chest, up, and then you reach back. Hands to prayer position. Now long from your heel to the crown of your head and twist right elbow to your left knee. Bring your breathing. That's it. Strong back leg. You can press your hamstrings up to the ceiling. Bring the breath in. So you're going to need that breath as fuel in the body for this pose so that you're able not to just do it for a few quick seconds and move on, but to live in it. So now maybe you're ready to open your arms or half bind your pose or fully bind your pose. There's an opportunity to have an incredible opening your back right rib cage. It's getting a little over-rotated hip back and this hip up. So this one will come back. This one will lift up. Yeah, one more breath in. Breath out. Yes, reach up to crescent lunge. Steady your gaze. Open up to warrior 2. Now get your feet. Yeah, take a nice long stride. Bend your knee a lot. I find for me the default is I get into my front leg and I'm all about the work there, and I don't necessarily get the back leg, and that inner thigh line can be kind of tight on my body. Maybe you're feeling that too. Also activate your back foot so your back leg feels like it's an equal in this pose. You want to get down into the sensation space. All right, straighten your front leg, reach up. Adam's like, it's time to move on. Warrior two, they'll thank you after. Stretch your arms apart and tilt, extended side angle. So when you lose your breathing, like you get tired and the first thing you get rid of is the breathing, then everything gets exponentially harder. So once you get settled here, bring your breathing in, and maybe you'll press your back foot down. Maybe you did that 2-arm reach on the other side and you'd like that again on this side. Strong legs, stretch your body long. So from heel to fingertips, now chest toward the ceiling. So your whole left side body gets even longer. One more breath into that space. High plank to low. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Take a breath in and have a sigh. Let's do one more time. Inhale. On the exhale, bend your knees and jump up to your hands. Halfway lift and forward fold. We'll take a chair twist. So start by setting your feet up parallel. Maybe reach your hips back and your arms forward into a bear squat to just get this quality of being in the front and in the back of your legs. And that the reach is going to keep you from falling over backwards. You get so much length in your thighs and in your waist. Now, before we move from the reach, take a breath in. Blow the air out and pull the pit of your belly into your body so your lower back feels just a little more supported. Keep all that. Then hands to prayer and twist. Left elbow to your right knee. Now breathe. You may notice that you have sort of straightened your right knee a little bit. Bend your right knee a little more. Your knee will move more forward toward your toes. And your left side body, your left thigh, pull your left thigh back toward the back of your mat. Now keep stretching and breathing. Stretch and breathe into your back left rib area. That's it. Couple more breaths. Back left ribs. One more. Stay here. Now you got it. Reach up to the chair. You always want that last exhale. Forward fold. You get to replenish here. Feet hip width distance. Hook your big toes with your middle and index fingers. Lift up halfway and forward fold. Now, I always love to shake my head out and my shoulders and just give in to the opportunity to become refreshed here. It's easy to be doing other things in your thinking and in your physicality and miss the rest. So look at your feet. This is one of those spots where it's very easy to have less attention in your feet. Open them up so that they're hip width distance or wider, but parallel to one another. And that would mean heels wider. That's always the tricky thing. It puts us right in the way of our hamstrings. Let your heels sink down into the ground. With your heels sinking, anchored, heavy, tilt your hips more forward towards your toes. Now stay in your breathing. Bring your attention into your back lower rib area, right into that space. Breathe into there, right into that space. Maybe it moves, maybe it doesn't, but just some attention there. One more breath. Let's chair twist the other way. So set it up. Take a peek at your feet. Maybe you really turn your toes out and you start working them incrementally, class by class over time. Maybe you can just go for it. Left elbow to your right knee. That's all right. Bring your right knee forward. Well, bring the knee forward that your elbow's on and the other one back. Yeah, because what starts happening is the knee you're twisting towards straightens, and what happens is your hips just shift. You don't end up getting that opportunity then to anchor your hips, stretch your body long, and breathe into your back right ribs. That's it, Aaron. Right into your back right ribs. 2 more breaths. Can you feel breath moving in your back right rib area? Reach up for the chair pose and forward fold. Gorilla pose is the pose that comes next. Feet hip width distance, and you'll tuck your palms, if they reach there, under your feet and stand on your hands. Now, for some, a tall block in front of you that you're resting your hands on would be the work for you. You can soften the backs of your knees and really release your sitting bones, the bony part of the bottom of your pelvis, that part up toward the ceiling. If you're able to get connected to that feeling of lifting your sitting bones to the ceiling, you might start to notice from your sitting bones down to your heels, there's a whole line of action, of energy, of stretching going on. Or perhaps you get this sense from your heels all the way up through and around your eyebrows, a quality of being softened and opened as you stretch and breathe. One more breath here. Next, we'll take crow pose, and there are many variations. The standard is hands down, knees outside of your arms, tilting forward. You could also take Malasana, the goddess squat, or I'm loving lately curling up like a dead bug, elbows inside of my knees, rounded, and breathing in. And every time you exhale, blow out. Your belly will go deeper. Your tail will lift more. Your spine will take on a deeper C shape. You pick what you're working on today. Once you get into it and your drishti is set and your breath is steady, 3 steady breaths with a concentration on the exhale. Every time you exhale, you can press the floor and lift your core. And then on the last one, for everyone, chaturanga from wherever you are. Nice, Greg. It was very light and floaty. Upward facing dog to downward facing dog. There you go, downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in, have a long breath out, look forward, and move up to your hands. Halfway lift, forward fold. Come rolling up to standing and sweep your arms overhead. Now we're going to take some standing balancing poses. Some of these can be done on your back if for any reason you need a little bit of extra rest. So now right arm under your left for eagle pose, wrap your forearms and bring your palms together. Some of you, it'll be the back of the palms or you'll hug your shoulders. Then squat down, way down into your heels. Right thigh high over your left thigh, and see if you can tuck your toes behind your calf muscle. Now, it's also perfectly acceptable to rest your toes on the ground as a little more of a balancing tool. On your back, you just lie on your back and take the pose. Steady breathing. So eyes on one part. You won't necessarily hold your balance the whole time. You will wiggle and fall out sometimes. And the work is to keep your gaze steady, your breath steady, and come back into it. On your next breath, step out, and then the left side, left arm under, squat, left leg over. Once you twist your arms and your legs, you'll get this amazing stretching that's possible in your lower pelvis, your lower back pelvis, and the back of your shoulders. One thing I've always got to remind myself to do is continue to engage the low pit of the belly into the body, into the spine, and up, like up to the chin. Step out, stretch your arms overhead. We'll do another set. Right arm under, right leg over. So if you've never tried this pose lying on your back, it may seem like that's like, I got to do that because the work is too hard. It's not. There's a whole different input here. When you're on your back, you can feel the 2 sides of your pelvis on the ground, the 2 sides of your shoulders on the ground, all of your ribs. There'll be a natural curving in your lower back and in your neck. And to keep all of that anchored is a lot of work. Take another breath, then stretch out, left side, left arm under, left leg over. Come on into the pose. The poses are just shapes to challenge our breath. All we're really doing here together is a breathing exercise. The poses challenge that, and then we work with whatever shows up today See what's possible. One more breath in, breath out, then step out, inhale, and hug your right knee into your chest. So right knee into your chest, take a look at your standing foot. Ideally, we've got it parallel to the side of the mat. And then for some of us, we have an automatic way of toes turning out. Decrease that incrementally or completely. Hold on to your right foot's big toe or the outer side of your foot with your hand or with a strap. And then extend your leg. This also can be done lying on your back, the leg extended toward the ceiling, the leg on the ground, active. And then you'll just be imagining standing or on the ground, just like you can see Suzette working, that there's a hugging into something that's giving you feedback against your inner ankle and arch. Find your center line that way. What is your center line? It's the place where the right side and the left side of your body come together. Good, steady breath. Hug your knee into your chest. We'll take airplane pose next. On the ground, the airplane pose may look like a leg up in the air. Standing, it's on one leg and the leg in the air behind you. When you're standing in the pose, anchor the big toe of your standing foot down and soften the foot's that same side's knee. So you really feel anchored into the knuckle of your big toe. You'll maybe feel your inner thigh just fire up from the arch all the way up to your groin. Next breath, just lift up your leg, your chest, your whole body light, like you're on the edge of your ability to balance. Then hands to prayer. Press them together and get steady. Half moon, left arm down, right arm up. You can take this half moon even on your knee on the ground, just reaching for the floor, reaching for the ceiling, foot up or foot down. Foot up is certainly a lot of balance. You could turn this into sugar cane by bending your top knee with your top arm reaching for your top ankle. And if you grab your ankle, the whole body stretch. 3 more breaths in this pose. Last breath. Forward fold and hang, or take child's pose if you're working from the floor. It's a lot of energy when there are a lot of people in the room, a lot of breath in the room. Left side. If you're standing, hug your knee in your chest. If you're lying down, hug your knee in your chest. Here, John. Set your gaze and begin your breathing. If your breath has gone away, begin your breathing. If your body is getting like to the edge of its working, steady your exhales. So you got a sense of how Suzette was imagining she was hugging her arches in. The same sense here. Hug the arch of your foot in as though it's hugging into the center line. Your standing leg as though it's hugging into your center line. The whole thing will lock in. Your left hip will drop down toward the ground and balance with your right hip. Yeah, you got it. You're doing it. Find that mystery extra strength where you're not muscling it, but other forces work like your center line or the rebound of gravity up into your arch. All right, hug your knee into your chest. Airplane pose. How you doing, Molly? That's it. Now just, if you can, press your right big toe down into the mat until you feel like there's some lightening of the load in your right hip, like you're floating off of your thigh bone a little bit more. Hands to prayer position, half moon, right arm down, left arm up, steady breathing. Good. You got it. It's coming along. Wake up your fingers. Wake up your toes. So stretch them out. Whole thing stretching. Reach. You can flex your foot and reach. That's it. One more breath. Forward fold and hang. Good work. Sway from side to side. Let yourself hang for a moment and let your body become refreshed. The standing balancing poses, you're still, and that actually doesn't even make it easier. We're learning to manage the energy in our body through our breathing, not turning the switch off, but dialing it down. Come on up to standing. You're ready for this now. Right arm behind you, reach your right arm back so your forearm and palm face out. Then bend your right knee and hold your ankle from the inside. You should still feel the quality of your shoulder going back, not curling forward. Start with your knees together, so the bottom one pointing down, different from pointing out to the side. And get an up and down quality of stretching. So the right knee pressing down and the left arm reaching up till you feel your whole body stretching. And then you can start to tilt and kick forward and reach back. Oh, let me change your hand, Corey. There you go. Feel the difference? So keep your breath flowing. Steady exhales. You got a side of your body being compressed, a side of it stretching. You two could almost imagine, use the force of each other to press. You don't have to touch, but just get that sense to lock each other into balance. Kick down and kick up. Just gentle hug in. Imagine you're standing inner thigh, hugging in. That's it, Paige. In the pose, stay with it. Take a breath. Have a sigh. One more breath, kick up and come on out. Feet on the floor. Maybe you bend your knees and put your palms on your thighs, not because your lower back felt crunch, but instead just because you're catching your breath, or hands on your hips, or you can press your palms together, whatever lets you feel settled and ready for the next side. Let's do the second side. Left arm back, forearm open, bend your knee and hold your ankle from the inside. You can even take your hand on the inside, I think, like this. There you go. Steady breathing. Nice. Little softness to your standing knee. Kick and reach. Kick and reach. Just gentle hug, right? Yeah. Very good. Kick and reach. Damien, open your shoulder. Switch, your whole grip needs to switch. Keep going. One more breath. Come on out. Feet on the floor. Did you feel how it got caught? Yeah, open. Yes. Eyes on one point. So instead of letting yourself check out right now, stay checked in, eyes on one point, and just understand what's going on in your body, what it takes to steady your breath. Okay, second set. Right arm back. And I love looking around the room how you're customizing your practice, some taking the pose on the floor, some at the wall. Right arm back, hold your right ankle from the inside. And now listen to this. Try this. Instead of holding where your hand just gripped, where it just happened to automatically go, move just a handprint down. So if you held your toe, move to your arch. If you held your arch, move to your ankle. If you had your ankle, move to your shin. It'll feel a little crowded at first, but as you get in the pose, you'll have more room to get toward the split space. That's it. Feel it? Now there's an equal and opposite that has to go on. Reach until you're reaching to the edge of the pose. Like if I stopped reaching forward, I'd fall back. If I stopped reaching back, I'd fall forward. Yeah, right to the edge like that. Kick down and kick up. Yeah, and it balances itself. It's like a suspension bridge. Come on out. Build your suspension bridge of the pose. And then you don't want to just hit that as the peak and be gone. Take a few breaths and get to that space and then breathe in it and feel what you feel. We've got a second set, a second side. Let's give it a try. Left arm back, hold your shin or your ankle, wherever you're holding, reach, and start to work your way in the pose through a few breaths. A little more kick. That's it, Missy, a little more kick. Now, a foot to the ground and a foot in the ceiling. Steady breathing. That's it. Keep kicking and reaching, and we'll just hug like that. Yep, if you have to hold, sometimes that works. Yeah, feel the middle line? You're getting it. And then it goes past, but you're finding it. One more breath. Come on out. You are welcome to take tree pose lying on your back if you feel like you want additional recovery, or standing, left foot down, right foot up. Now, if you're taking it on your back, it's not like nap time tree pose. There's still work to it. The foot on the floor is toes straight up to the ceiling. So I'm not rolling out and just gripping my quads. I'm working my inner thigh hug. And I'll put the sole of my right foot to the inner thigh, and those two parts can hug together. Then it gets interesting in the pit of my belly, how I hold balance in the box shape of my torso. And then you can press your palms together, and that will help to settle and ground your body. Good. I see a lot of good poses here. Hug, Corey. Just gentle hug right there. Yes. Good. Keep hugging. See, as it gets tired, it goes back to the old habit. All right, stretch out if you're on the ground or on the ceiling, step out, switch sides. Right foot down, left foot into your tree. So probably the knee to the side isn't quite on the ground. Collect your thigh bones in. Yeah, make the hugging right there. Yes. And hug here. Hug right there, Jen. Draw the pit of your belly into your body and up to your chin. So instead of necessarily a reaching out, you've got a kind of collecting in vibe going. All right, one more breath. And step out. Come to the front of your mat. At the front of your mat, inhale and reach your arms overhead. Fold to the floor. Halfway lift, chaturanga. Might feel good to stretch here now. Upward facing dog to downward facing dog. We'll take right side triangle. So step your right foot inside of your right hand and turn your back foot flat. I would suggest really focusing on anchoring your front foot to the ground, the ball of your big toe, the inner corner and outer corner of your heel. And then from that ball of your big toe to your right sitting bone, stretch those 2 points apart. Then turn and open and reach to the ceiling. Now, see where you are. Feel how it is in your body and what there is to work with. If you can keep your feet anchored, the ball of your front foot's big toe, the back edge of your back foot, you're ready for something new and next in this pose. Hug the pit of your belly into your body. Let it become the foundation of the pose. Take your right hand behind your body on the floor like 10 more inches so it's a reach behind you. It's back there, kind of uncomfortable. And then with your feet anchored and the pit of your belly anchored, you can start opening up your chest. Adding in the possibility of a back bend to this long, lengthening side stretch. Deep, deep breath. Come on up to standing. Turn and face the long left side of your mat, hands to your hips. Lift your chest up high and forward fold. Feet parallel to the short sides of your mat. Walk your hands forward and put your fingertips on the ground, your palms. Let those arch up, be more hollow. Armpits more hollow. Then breathe in. And when you exhale, stretch your hips back behind your heels. Get this length from your fingertips through your armpits between each of your ribs to your hip creases. Maximum lengthening physically. And then just breathe into the space between each one of your ribs. This space on your side body is actually that hidden critical space needed for big back bends. I think this is the best feeling. All right, walk your hands back and come on up to standing. Turn and face the front of your mat. Standing single leg forward fold, so there should be some length between your legs and some width. Take your hands around behind your back and create prayer hands behind your back. Wiggle your fingertips up your back as high as they'll go. For some, pointing your hands down is where it might be today, or crossing your arms. But if you can create the prayer hands pointing up, do that. Splits on the ground are an option, but forward fold. You'll still need your front foot's big toe anchored to the ground. You might notice from the big toe to the right sitting bone, that whole area is still being addressed and stretched. Bring some weight into your front leg a little bit. So there. Go a little longer, Suzanne. Yes, you got it. That's it, Janet. There you go. You can flex your toes, point them up to the ceiling, and then just hug in with, yeah, I know. Everybody twisting triangle. So left hand on the ground for the standing single leg forward folds, and you're twisting to the right. Or if you're in the split, you might stay as you are. Perhaps you add some twisting and turning, or you fold over your front leg. There are a lot of options for you. Nice, John. One more breath. And come on out. Downward facing dog. You might be moving through the vinyasa. It's up to you, but let's meet together in the downward facing dog. And then we'll take the other side, left side triangle. Step your left foot forward. You want to have a long base in this. At home or here in the room, press the knuckle of your big toe down. That's the most commonly just disconnected default in the pose, is that the front foot is not anchored. Now the back foot is always a mystery. That's always something to check in on. So anchor the back edge of that foot. So front foot's big toe, press it down. And just let the crease of your left hip get deeper and deeper. Nana, you could go longer. Yeah, give yourself some space. Yes. Now, once your feet are anchored and the pit of your belly is anchored, you can move your left hand behind you 6 or more inches off of your mat, like behind you. You got it. Now, ensure you've got the strong belly. Let the crease of your left hip just keep deepening and deepening in the left side body. Lengthen and like big toe down. Press your big toe. Yeah, I know that's the best, easy first thing to forget about. One more breath. Drop your head back and breathe. Good. Come up to standing. Face the long right side of your mat. Take your hands behind your back and interlace your hands. Now, you could hold on to a strap or a hand towel to make the connection. Feet parallel to the short sides of the mat. Lift your chest and forward fold. You got it. So spill your hands, your bound hands overhead. And if they don't go do any spilling, then I would suggest picking up the towel or the strap so you get a little more space. That's it. And let there just become some length on the back of your body. And then this pose is a fascinating pose to breathe into your back ribs. You might have to start by using your imagination to imagine that that area is moving as you're breathing, that there's some expansion and some softening. But it's possible. So at least let it be a possibility in your imagination. One more breath here. Come on up to standing. Turn to face the front of your mat with the standing single leg forward fold or the split on this side. Hands behind your back, prayer hands. Now, the default is a lot of us take this tiny little stretch and we're kind of left with no possibility of our hamstrings or our legs doing anything. There has to be some space. We have to be working with the 4 corners of the feet. It should be that you have to get into the big toes to get the square hips, that it doesn't just happen for you, and then you're folding. The feet stay active even in the splits. So flexed feet on both the front and back foot. Imagine that you're hugging. You're like, please pick Candy, not me. Adam's face is, why me? Look at his face. Hug, Adam. This is your center line. Hug in. It's like a blessing. Twisting triangle or some next stage of your split. So for a lot of you, the next stage of your split is just holding it still. And though maybe a block just supports you under the left hip, so you could be a little more at ease in the pose. You got it. So if you notice the weight has dropped into your right shoulder and you're swinging your left hip to the left, bring some weight into your back foot and create a more linear forward and back expression of the pose. Lengthen your back right ribs, twisting triangles. One more breath. Make your back right ribs long now and twist. Don't lean into your right shoulder, though. I know that's weird, isn't it? And it goes here. There you go. Yeah. Getting that is like the best goal, but it takes something. All right, unwind. Hands to the floor. Downward facing dog. You guys look like you're ready for some floor poses. It's definitely juicy in here. Okay, come to a high plank and lower down to your belly on the mat. This is the best, though. We're ready now for the back bends. Let's train our body about these back bends so we don't just start melting and sinking and squishing. Turn your back toes under like they were when you did the push-up that got you down here and activate your legs. Now, we've talked a little bit about your feet throughout the practice, and they matter right here. So hip width distance could be good. You could use your block, and Candy's demoing here, right between your ankles and just hug it. We want all 10 toe knuckles on the ground and your heels pressing back. So your legs are active like you're standing. Then stretch your waist long on the mat. You can reach your arms back and lift up. A little tuck of your chin in so your neck stays long. Now, as you breathe, you just imagine you're pressing your heels back like they're standing on the wall that's behind your mat. Your fingers, your tailbone, all that can reach back with your heels. But you stretch from the outside of your ankle all the way up the outer line of your body, all the way into your armpit and then to the side of your ear. You stretch that space long as it'll go. One more breath. Come on down. Now, if you can wiggle your hips or your feet side to side, but feel what you feel in your body. Hopefully your body's starting to say, okay, I get this. Organized feet, strong low body, lot of length, and then expression. Let's do another one. Set up your legs. Take your arms around behind you and interlace your hands or hold on to a strap. We're going to do a second set of the locust. Then hands will press back, heels will press back, all of this reaching back, tailbone reaching back, so that you then can reach the center of your chest forward, the crown of your head forward. In our adaptation training, we teach point-to-point stretching. It's much more anatomy. Heels back, crown of your head forward. Those 2 points, pull them apart. Then breathe and become aware of every point in between. See what you see in your body. Stay with it, breathe, feel what you feel in your body. Take another breath. Come on down. You can wiggle your hips from side to side. We'll take floor bow. We'll do 2, or you can do it one-sided at a time. Bend your knees, reach back, and hold your ankles from the outside. Or take one side. The leg that stays long and straight will be toes turned under like it's doing a push-up. And then your left arm can be forward, bent, or straight in the pose. We don't want to lose everything we've done so far. And how would that happen? By the knees going wide and the belly going soft and the whole pose crunching in your lower back. How does your lower back feel right now? However you're doing the pose, do you feel it as compressed or crowded? What would it take for it to still feel spacious? Come on down. Feet side to side. You might not kick as high when you make sure your lower back has space, but in time, the parts that are meant to work in a back bend are going to transform. Let's do a second set or the second side. Set it up. Second set or second side. Kick back and rise up. What I have to pay attention to is the pit of my belly hugging in again. That's usually the spot I check back in on and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's not doing it again. Shins back, feet flexed. Press the ball of your big toe up to the ceiling. You got it. Another breath. Come on down. Hands on the floor beside your bottom rib, upward facing dog. Strong legs. Lift your chest. Get this last stretch of the front body. Downward facing dog. Crawl through or jump through and sit down and roll onto your back. We will get ready for bridge and wheel pose. So we're in a section of the sequence called igniting. New depths of energy can become revealed to you in these poses, or you can struggle the whole time. So let's look for the maybe new energy side of the pose. How will we do this? Ankles right under your knees and feet hip width distance. To the best of your ability, parallel to the sides of your mat. Then press your feet into the ground and lift your hips up to the ceiling for the bridge pose. In the bridge, tuck your shoulders under your body. Maybe interlace your hands beneath your body or use a strap or towel. Then for some of you can walk your feet in toward your hips just a little more. Your ankles are not under your knees just yet. That's it. While we're here in the pose, lift only your 10 toes in the air, just your toes. And imagine you're dragging your heels back to your shoulders. Is there a new level of fire in the back of your body from that action? Okay, stay right there. 5 breaths. Just breathe with it. So in your mind, what if I could take 5 breaths here? What if I could feel that fiery side of my back body? Keep your knees only hip width distance. Are your big toes pressing and anchoring? Come on down. Now, however that just happened was exactly right, but feel what you feel. What's so in your body? What are you experiencing? Let's do a second set. Set it up. Press down, rise up. Press the knuckle of your big toe into the mat. You'll feel from your arch up your inner shin, past your inside knee to your inner thigh, a whole new level of fire. You knew it was coming your way, didn't you? Hug that in. Keep your feet anchored. Don't move them. But the one side, bring your right knee into your chest. So your left foot, don't move it. Don't scooch it into the center. Toes up to the ceiling. Now action, one foot pressing down, one foot reaching up. You hug. That's it, Charles. Yeah, you should need to breathe as you tap into that new level of energy, fire in the body. Knee into your chest and bring your foot down. Let's take a break. I know there's another side. We're going to do it. Knees side to side. It's a whole new kind of energy, almost overwhelming at times when you do tap into something more deep and internal versus the always external work. Let's take a bridge. Feet in your setting, hip width distance under your knees. Really set up all four corners of both feet. Got your feet? Hug your right knee into your chest. And then hug in with your knee, hug in. Hug in. Oh, other one. How about we say this? The other one. Why do we need to get so caught up in the right and left? Now, Brian, hug the bottom leg in. Keep hugging into your big toe. Keep hugging into your, bring your knee into my knee. Yes, center line right there. I know it's tricky. Another breath. All right, come on down. Knees side to side. You know, if we were going to do an inversion workshop, we would do a lot of that. Without the center line, holding an inversion is just like a leap of faith. It's a hope. Okay, now we're ready for wheel. Bridge pose first. Set your hands, and the default in your hands, we want to have it not crowded into your neck. We'd like the default to be that your hands are set pretty awkwardly wide. Get your hands and feet ready. Press down and rise up. Now, some of you, the best choice for you might be to continue working with a bridge. We all know in this room, a bridge is a challenging pose too. So you listen to your body and do the thing it's telling you need to be doing. Nice, Angela. Another breath. Come on down. Knees side to side. You might need to take a sigh and have an exhale and clear your attitude a little bit. I usually need that here. Now let your body lead the way. See what's possible for you today. You'll never be this ready again. Here we go. Get ready. Press down, rise up. Get into this thing. Press the knuckle of your big toe down. Press the thumb down into the mat. Wake up the inner line. Hug, 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 hug. Yes, that's it. Feel it? Tuck your chin and come down. Knees side to side. You're doing? I'll help you. Don't you worry. You can tell Beth's not really from regularly around here. She has drawn attention. Press down and rise up. You got it. Yeah. Now, hug right here. So your thumbs press. Hug right here. So I'm giving Beth a little bit of just pressure out to her inside elbow. Hug in. How will you find that? Relax your upper back. Press into your thumb. Yes, you did it. Feel that? Tuck your chin and come down. That was really good. Knees side to side. Okay, we're going to do how many more? 3. That's what I thought too. All right, let's do it. Press down, rise up. Get up there and take 3 breaths. See if you can almost roll your shoulders, you can have a little ease in your shoulders. Maybe work with a sigh. If you can do a wheel, get into a wheel. Tuck your chin and come on down. Knees side to side. That's it, Paige. Less toes out. There you go. Next one, press down, rise up. There you go. Wheel pose or bridge. Hug into your inner knee. Hug into your... Yeah, Neil, I saw you do it. I helped Missy, and then you did it. And Missy did it. Tuck your chin and come on down. Knees side to side. All right, we only have one left. This is our last one. Hey, Susan's doing it at home with you guys, and she's not complaining. Press down and rise up. Of course, we can't hear her. Well, there's a little side factor. Press down and rise up. Okay, that's it. John, nice standing in your legs there. Maybe walk your hands in. Press this down, right down into the ground. Tuck your chin and come on down. Supta Baddha Konasana. So soles of your feet together, knees open, and you rest. Now stay checked in. Feel what you're feeling in your body. You just did a whole bunch of good stuff. Experience what you're experiencing right now. You just set yourself up for this incredible, igniting experience. What is that in your body? From your experience, you become a great teacher for others, not necessarily a yoga teacher. We all teach all the time. Dead bug pose. You can hug your knees into your chest and hold the outer edges of your feet and rock side to side. Physically, we did all this opening of the front of your body, but energetically as well, we did all this opening, igniting, hopefully, something new inside of ourselves, a new possibility. If one were to just rise up into your consciousness right now, from right here where you are right now, what would be an intention you would set right here? Hug your knees into your chest. You can curl up and then shins parallel to the floor. Take a deep breath in. Hold the back of your legs, curl up so you're curling at your bottom rib, and let your sitting bones settle down to the ground. How would that happen? It'd be that you just relax your lower back a little bit. Then breathe in again. And as you exhale, blow out and sink the pit of your belly deep down into your spine so you're anchored on the back of your body to the floor. You can then reach toward your feet. Breathe in and then start to tap one leg at a time. Now, what you're looking for and listening for is that your body is not rocking side to side as your limb moves. Getting a little bit crazier, the opposite side arm can go. And still, the two sides of your body stayed anchored. You still are collected into the center line of your body. Just get a sense of it. Can you do this without rocking even a little bit side to side? It's pretty tough. One more time. Hug your knees into your chest and relax your head. Legs straight up in the air, flex your feet. You could even hug your block between your ankles. Curl up. So you want to make it so the whole back of your spine gets really long. You curl at your bottom ribs and lengthen the back of your neck. Take a breath. And as you exhale, sink the pit of your belly down into the ground and keep your back glued to the floor. Breathe in. As you exhale, blow out and sink a little more and just reach. Tiny little movements. All you're doing is deepening your abdominal muscles when you blow out. That creates the sit-up looking effect. Do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hug your knees into your chest. You can rest for a second. Just looking at the time. All right, hug your knees and rock back and forth, head to tail a bunch of times and through to downward facing dog. And we'll take right side pigeon pose. Right leg forward into pigeon pose. We're moving into some poses that are in a sequence called opening. So while you're physically going to move around a little bit less now, set yourself up so the shin is the determining factor of intensity, how square it is to the front of the mat. More square, more intense. Back toward your torso, less intense. But your right thigh, it needs to be parallel to the side of your mat. The default is to swing your knee way out to the right, and then you lose the alignment of the pose. So thighs square to the side of your mat. Of course, you can take this pose on your back as well. Whichever version of the pose you're in, flex your ankles. So you've got like a really active connection all the way through to your toes. I'm going to grab a block for you, Corey. So you can bring your heel in closer to your torso a little bit to just take the intensity down a touch. Now, there shouldn't be any knees in the room that are experiencing this pose, feeling a twinge or a discomfort. If that is so, we need to back off out of the pose just a touch. If you're in the pose for like the millionth time, you do this every day, and you're just like drifting off in your thoughts, then add intensity. With your left hand, reach back for your left ankle and fold forward then with your ankle in hand. Do what it takes for you to still be engaged in your practice now that there's less distraction of movement. We're opening up into the possibility now of being able to be present and need fewer tools to do so. All right, let's switch to the other side. Left leg forward. So you have this opportunity for this back left hip, left lower back to open up in this pose. You could feel other parts, but that's the most common one here. Nothing in the knee, of course. And then just use the sensation as an anchor into the present moment, the sensation to keep you actively aware of what's actually happening. And that your breath is still steady. Maybe it's softening a bit. Maybe you don't need the fiery building ujjayi breath. Maybe you're settling more toward your everyday breath, but now that breath shaped by the practice of breath. What would that look like? Maybe the pauses between start to slip away, but the quality is there. The exhale has your attention. You have the ability to reset with a sigh, add intensity. If your energy still feels kind of like up, your breath short, start lengthening your exhales. See if you can on purpose bring ease and calm to your experience. We'll take double pigeon next. Sit on your left hip and swing your right leg around in front of you. Stack your legs up. So this pose is going to look different on all the different bodies in the space. Double pigeon. It looks like crisscross applesauce, except a little bit more specific. So this would be an option. But elevating your hips by about 1 inch is a very nice customization for many bodies. Ankles hanging off the sides of thighs. I often will put a block under my hanging ankle, but for everybody, move your hips back a bit. To lessen the intensity, the bottom heel could come in closer to your body more, but where we're going is that it's out and these two shins are stacked up. Find the spot that suits your body. Maybe fingertips go behind you and you're just working on sitting up tall. Maybe they're pressing on the outsides of the soles of your feet to give you a sense of where your feet are, or you're fully folding forward. So if you want to add intensity, not at your knee, but at your thigh, because we're working this joint, not this joint, you can press your thigh bone back at the hip, down and out. Sitting elevated hips is a great spot though for a lot. Yeah, see if that hip will sit. Let me give you another little block, Corey. I think this will be good for you. Right under there. So no pressure in your knees. You won't want to feel this in the side of your knees. Don't make that happen. Or you can switch sides. Other leg on the bottom. Does that one go on the bottom? That one's looking like it doesn't want to. Yeah, so some things that you can do. This pose can modify a million different ways. It could be done sitting upright. It also could be done with the bottom leg long in front of you. So you have a lot of different options with the pose. It may be that the extra leg is just out of the pose and this one's just sitting to the side. But you see, for many of us, where we don't end up in it is we're sitting back. Settle back into your hips. Just want to get sitting up tall. That's where, for a lot of people, sitting on a block makes a big difference. Keep that foot active, yeah. And yes, always that. Okay, we'll do seated single leg extensions. So you're right where you need to be. Just stretch your right leg long and bend your left leg. So the sole of your left foot, it's like tree pose, touching your right inner thigh. Then fold over your long right leg. Now slightly elevated hips or a soft back of the knee. Those are some really nice customizations for most bodies. When you fold with your left hand, reach for the baby toes of your right foot. If you've got a knee hanging in the air, tuck a block under it. I like to take the extra arm, my right arm, around behind my back and rest the back of my hand on the back of my left pelvis. somehow or another from that back, hand resting to the other hand reaching to my foot, I just get a lot of space in my back that way. The back side of our body is that unconscious side. We're so knowledgeable about what's happening on the front, but our practice gives us the opportunity to become aware of and work with the back side of our body. Switch sides. Right hand to your left baby toe. No problem if your left leg has to bend a bit. Tucking a water bottle under the knee can be a really nice prop. Maybe have some attention at your left outer ankle. For a lot of us, that can kind of get a bit stiffened up rather than folding in that area. So if it seems to you like the left outer ankle is kind of like longer and stiff, can you just soften it and let it fold there? You'll notice then your toes point straight up to the ceiling. It could be useful and helpful to take a sigh in the pose. Seems like such a basic stretch, like that's such an easy one. Shouldn't it be at the beginning, or why are we doing it? But you've worked really hard to get to have the depth of this pose. Okay, come on up. 2 legs in front of you, seated forward fold. Another place to elevate your hips or soften the backs of your knees. You could set your feet up hip width distance rather than feet together. You could take your block and hug it between your ankles. You could hold it at the backs of your feet if you're feeling super flexible and want to reach around the block and your feet. There are a lot of options. Try hugging? Yeah, just like that. But see how like this is doing this? That's your outside ankle being tight. There. And now you feel more hamstring. It's like, what? I didn't want to feel that. He needed to feel it more. Feel this. Yeah. You're welcome. I just wanted you to remember our class together and come back next time you're in town. Release your toes and come on up. We'll take a reverse tabletop. So if you're hugging the block the way Jen is, you can keep it. Yep, just keep it like that. So you'll want to give your feet some space right up there on the bottom of your shins and take the pose just like Jen is doing. You could work with flexed feet. You can point your toes toward the floor and see if your feet will stand on the floor, and then just keep hugging the block with the bony inner shin. Yes, that's a little awkward and weird. You got it, Angela. That's it. See if you can stretch the tops of your ankles and get your toes to touch the ground. Sue, bring your ankles together. Yes, this inside ankle right here. Hug. Alrighty, let's sit down. Hips on the ground. Hands in a C shape. Each hand around one side of your pelvis. Let your forearms rest on the mat behind you. We're moving toward fish pose, but very specifically. So hands around your hips, forearms on the ground. Flex your feet. They can even still hug the block and press them against you like they're standing on the wall. Then with your hands at your hips, press into your hips so your whole back body gets really long. Once you have that action, press your elbows into the floor, stretch your front body long, lift your chest, and relax your head back. It probably won't touch the ground. We won't be here for a long time. We're looking for that your whole body gets long and then your chest opens. So one more time, whole body long, chest opens, then relax onto your back, all the way down onto your flat back. Roll your feet overhead to plow pose or lie flat on your back with a block under your pelvis, long, and legs straight up in the air for waterfall. So we have plow pose to shoulder stand or waterfall pose. Move your body into the position of this pose. Once you get your feet into the air and you build a steady foundation, settle your gaze on one point. Steady your breathing. Steady breathing. If steady breath isn't coming to you, perhaps downgrade the intensity of your pose. Concentrate on the exhales. You're welcome. Long, steady exhales. Start to move out of this pose. If it's shoulder stand, you'll come to plow pose, to even the deaf yogi pose, knees by your ears. But for everyone, ultimately, make your way out of the pose and onto your flat back. Once you're on your flat back, hug your knees into your chest. Once you're on your back with your knees into your chest, you can drop your knees to one side. And look to the opposite side if that's comfortable in your body. And once you get here in this simple twist, take a deep breath in. And exhale through your mouth. Let the weight of your body just rest into the ground. Switch sides. Come to the center, hug your knees to your chest, bring your forehead to your knees. Curl up. Oh, you're Supta Baddha Konasana. Organize your bones so that your body feels comfortable on the floor here, that you don't feel any crowding in your lower back. Somewhere, those of you practicing here in the room, somewhere to the right or left of your head is a cold eye towel. That could feel pretty good on your neck or over your forehead right now. Then stretch your legs out long and wide for Shavasana. Once you get your body organized into Shavasana, take a deep breath in and exhale through your mouth. Let the weight of your body sink into the ground. Anytime it feels right for you to take another sigh, you just do that. Begin to deepen your breathing. Let's say maybe take a deep breath in. As you exhale, squeeze your fingers and your toes and just mark this space for yourself physically. The work that you did to bring yourself into the place where you are right now, present in your body, in the room, experiencing what you're experiencing. Then hug your knees into your chest and roll to your side. From here, bring yourself up into a sitting position. Just get comfortable. And then once you are settled, reach your arms overhead and just give yourself a chance to stretch up tall. And then bring your hands into prayer position at the center of your chest. Pause right here for a second and just feel what you're feeling. However your practice was, it was exactly what you needed today, and you're exactly where you belong right now. So let there be an intention that comes to you that you hold for the rest of your day. And then 3 times we'll chant Om together to complete our class today. Take a deep breath in. Bring your thumb knuckles to the center of your forehead. Thank you, each one of you, for being here today. It makes a big difference when you're not here. It's not the same. I appreciate you coming and spending this Sunday morning together. Take a breath in. Exhale through your mouth. Namaste. Good work. Thank you each for joining. It is a sweaty one. I put a lot of extra towels around the room. Wipe up the puddles just to make sure nobody slips on the way out. Of course, we'll be mopping the floor. You are also welcome to take your mat right outside and hang it on the rail until you're ready to go if that helps it to dry out a bit. I look forward to seeing you again. Great to have visitors visiting again, people from the past back on your mat again. Those of you who are here every day, good to have you here today as well. Have a great day. Oh. Laundry basket right here for all the wet towels.